Hey, I'm back and we finished the lips, and let's look for a moment and see what he does next in his tutorial. Remember, we had also created a layer for the lips. I believe he works on the nose next. All right, and that is exactly what he does. So we're going to, you'll see I have my nose drawn and was getting into that second shape before Camtasia quit on me, but we're going to go back over here and I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so you can see my nose. And we're going to make sure the lips are there, which they are. I'm going to lock the lips layer and I'm going to create a new layer and I'm going to call this nose. And then I'm going to make sure that's highlighted. Get my pen tool and I am going to draw just half of my nose, right? Jeez, I don't like that at all. All right, so if you look at that, I don't really like the way that fits or the curvature of a couple of these areas. So I'm going to select it again, get the pencil tool, and I'm going to refine that a little bit. And again, I'm just redrawing, making sure that I'm not creating another stroke or another path, but alongside of it, but instead refining the line that I have there. So now he's selected it with the selection tool. Then we've gone up under Object, Transform, and again we're going to reflect the nose. And we are going to reflect it vertically, and we're going to preview it, which we are, and then we're going to copy it. Then we're going to shift arrow, and the reason why I use a shift is because it makes it move a little bit more quickly. Arrow that over. Now his nose is a little bit more symmetrical than what my nose is, and so what I'm going to do is again select this path, and I'm going to get the pencil tool, and I'm going to redraw this to better reflect what my nose looks like. Now remember, then I added a path. I don't want to add a path. I want to change the existing path. So there we go. And then I also want to change this a little bit. I added one there. I definitely do not want to do that. I just want to all right, a little bit better. All right, now what he does is he again selects both sides of the nose. That certainly doesn't look good. Let's see what that looks like. All right, you will find you're the same way. You just, want to futz with it until it gets to where you think it most accurately reflects what you want it to look like. And if it's adding a path one way, then I draw on it another way to see if I can just change the path. All right, so now I'm going to bump that up a little bit and over. Get the direct selection tool And then I'm going to click and drag an imaginary rectangle around these two end anchor points on the end of my nose. So I have those two end anchor points selected. Then I'm going to go up to Object and Path and Join, which it does join it then. And so then we can manipulate it, move it, color it as one path. Now the next thing that he did was, because the stroke ends here look a little bulky, he selected it and went up to the control panel and changed the stroke, left the 1 point stroke weight the same, but went over here to Uniform, and he picked up the Width Profile 1, and the width of the stroke and the strength of the stroke varies, and so it makes it a little less heavy. That's the only thing I can think of to say. All right, so let's watch and see what he does next. All right, again, he's appears to be drawing that shadow and the shape that's right alongside your nose and mouth. So I am going to get my pen tool again, and he started here right in the middle of your nose and went down here a bit. And created just a little bit of that shape. I don't know that this is exactly the way he did it, but all right. So that is then that last little anchor point that I added also added it to this nose shape. I'm going to again just select that shape. I'm going to get the pencil tool. And this is really the only one that I don't like very well. His is quite sharp there. So I've got that, and we're going to try to reflect that. Go to Object, Transform, Reflect, and we're going to copy it and move that over and see if that works. No, see, it doesn't, because I've got the entire nose on that. So I'm going to have to come back here for a minute. And actually, I think if we look at the way he did it, this line he did not attach to his nose. I may have to watch it again to remind me how he did this, but I know he did it a lot more smoothly than what I've done it. All right, we're going to try this again. And the thing that I did in order to get it so that it would quit attaching to the nose and duplicating both the nose as well as that crease alongside of the nose, I went back into my layers panel and I locked the nose layer, and I'm going to create another layer, and I'm going to call this, you know, what is that? I don't even know what that crease nose. And hopefully I'll know what that is if I need to come back to that. And then when I get the pen tool and I click on top of that path, it doesn't automatically add to that path. All right, and that is a similar shape. He does a much nicer job of it than I have here. Here is that shape, and just before I was getting ready to duplicate it. But we're going to go to this shape and we're going to select it. And we are going to add this to it, which is the go up to the control panel, and instead of using the uniform stroke, we're going to use the width profile 1, and we're going to go up under object, transform, reflect, and we're going to copy it, and then we're going to move that over. And then we are going to select them both, Pathfinder, and join. Nope, so we are going to instead see how he did it, and I will be right back. All right, and trying to get that nose, the nose shadow or shape correct. I've done it not exactly to my satisfaction, but it'll work. So we've got it selected. Then we're going to go up to Object, Transform, Reflect, and Copy. And then we're going to move that over as well. We're going to try and hold down our Shift key and select the two halves, and see if that will allow us to join those. No, we don't want to do that. So let me figure out how we need to do that without creating those two diagonal lines.